Okay, hello, welcome back everyone. Let us continue with lab 2. Again, in our first lab, we just initialized the VM. We changed the date and time settings. We disabled the enhanced security mode for IE. Of course, there are some pending updates now being downloaded. In addition, I want to just download Google Chrome before starting with lab 2. For here, we just use don't use recommended settings. Just search for Google Chrome download. Download Google Chrome. If it didn't start, and usually it will not actually, you just need to click on run, and that's it. Meanwhile, while the setup for Google Chrome is running, I believe it started. It should start very soon. Okay. I will go ahead with adding a new role, which is going to be Active Directory. Of course, as we mentioned before, Active Directory is the main requirement for Exchange. You cannot run Exchange without Active Directory. So we choose Active Directory Domain Services. And then I will install the web server as well. Next, next, next. And then no need to add anything additional. And install. Okay. Meanwhile, I'm going to skip everything, set up Google Chrome. Okay, ready. Now I will go back to our websites that we mentioned before. So Exchange documentation. Okay. And of course, I will start the download actually for Exchange CU12. So let us start the download and in Exchange documentation. Now, what I'm doing essentially now is part of the other labs. It's not the it's not necessarily to do them in order when you know what you're expecting, if that makes sense. Okay. So I'm just trying to maximize our time usage basically by preparing this page. I will pin it, and actually I will leave it for now. And then the cumulative update, I will leave it to download because during the labs, actually what we do is we create a shared folder. I download all the files for you, and then we create a shared folder from within the VM and pull the files inside the VM. This is what we did during the lab. But here, what I'm going to do is just download everything from scratch. Of course, the main pain point is that when everybody is downloading files at the same time during the lab, the download speed will go down significantly. And therefore, we cannot do this step actually. Like, for example, you can see here, it's going to take around 12 minutes to download Exchange Server 2016, I believe, 2019, sorry. While if we all try to start it during the lab, I think it will take at least 30 minutes. Okay, now comes the next step, which is promoting the server to a domain controller. And this is, again, another requirement. We will select add a new forest. Again, we are still in lab 2. This is still part of lab 2, which is the promotion to domain controller. I will call it ktick.local. And of course, if you cannot see the bottom of the screen, it's better to maximize it a little bit. Next. Again, the password, use the same password for everything because it's just a lab environment. There is no need to complicate things for yourself. ktick.123.com, ktick.123.com. Next. Next. NetBites name should be automatically filled for us. Okay, ktick, fair enough. Next. Also the default path, there's no need to change the location. This is a script that's going to actually run to install Active Directory. Prerequisite check should pass without any issues, actually. Okay, you can ignore warning. Install. Okay, now it's actually installing. If I go to settings and go for Windows Update and Security, we can now start the update check. Okay, you can start it by all means. You can start it in Lab 1. It is up to you. You want to start in Lab 1, Lab 2, Lab 3 at any time. It is always a good idea to make sure that everything is updated. Of course, downloading updates also will significantly slow down any other downloads. So you have to keep that in mind. Okay. Meanwhile, I think, let me revise Lab 2 again. After we promote to domain controller, this is it actually. This is the end of Lab 2. So right now the promotion is complete. Unfortunately, it will sign me out very soon. So I'll pause this download and let it do its own thing. Of course, this sign out process is normal. It's basically going to restart the server because it has now a new role installed, which is Active Directory. After the restart is complete, you will get additional input or text box, and that text box is essentially for the username. And again, the only user that we have right now on the server is administrator. So we are going to use administrator to log in. Let's give it a second. Of course, it might take some time because this is a big role installed on the server. So the server might slow down initially, but all in all, remember that usually we install these features on separate servers. What we are doing during this lab is we are putting everything on one server, so we're actually overloading it. So 5 GB RAM even is not enough. 16 GB, I think, is the minimum requirement, but as we all know, we cannot push it that far because of the lab limitations. So I think 5, 10 actually might be more recommended during the finals and midterms. I push it to 10 and I shut down everything else. All other VMs should be disabled. So this way we can maximize the RAM usage for the VM and make sure that the midterm and the final is running smoothly. Okay, so I believe I can stop the recording here. Wait a little bit for, or let me just do the login step actually. We don't need this anymore, and Hyper-V is not needed anymore. We can minimize everything. Let's give it a second. Again, this is completely normal. And during Exchange setup, also expect a lot of loading as well. Exchange setup takes significant time actually. After the readiness check is passed, there are around 13 steps that need to be performed. Okay, so in this case, we have to wait a little bit until the 13 steps are done one by one, and then finally what will happen is that Exchange will be installed completely. Okay, I think I'll stop the recording. I cannot buy it more time. Okay, see you in the next video, but essentially it will be logging in and starting with Lab 3.